everyone. When an ellipse with foci 2, 0 and negative 2, 0 passes through a point 2, 3, we're going to find the lengths of the major and minor axis. So when we first start, let's set up our equation. Our foci is on the x part. So that means our major axis is going to be horizontal here, like that. Let's see, we'll do it like that. It's going to be like that. And the minor axis is going to be this, but since it's the foci has to be on the major axis. All right. So basically, let's let the equation of the ellipse be x squared divided by a squared plus y squared divided by b squared equals 1. And since a is the major, a is going to be bigger than b, and b has to be positive. All right. Now, we know our c. We have c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So therefore, our c is going to be plus or minus 2, because that's your c right here. Therefore, if you do c squared equals a squared minus b squared, we're going to get a squared equals c squared plus b squared. All right, well, c squared is going to be 4, so we get a equals 4 plus b squared. And I just substituted in 2 and got 2 squared for that. We'll call this equation 1. And that's a squared, sorry. All right, now let's look at the ellipse that passes through this point. So I'm going to substitute in my 2 and my 3 into these. So I'm going to get 2 squared divided by a squared plus 3 squared divided by b squared equals 1. Now my common denominator is going to be a squared times b squared. So if I just multiply through everything by a squared times b squared, I'm going to get this equals, this will cancel out. You'll have 4b squared. And then for this one, the b squared will cancel out and give you 9 times a squared. And then you have to multiply these two, and you get this equals a squared times b squared. All right, and if you want, you can switch these around. But let's go ahead and substitute in our a squared into this. So this is equation 2, and we're going to substitute 1 into 2. Therefore, I'm going to switch these around. So we're going to have 9 times a squared. So a squared is 4 plus b squared. And then we still have our plus 4b squared. And then we have a again. So a is 4 plus b squared times b squared. Now simplifying all this, we're going to get b to the power of 4 minus 9b squared minus 36 equals 0. So basically I just took care of this side and moved everything over to the left hand side. Okay, so we have b to the power of 4 minus 9b squared minus 36 equals 0. Factoring this gives us b squared minus 12 times b squared plus 3 equals 0. Therefore, we have b squared equals 12, or b squared equals negative 3. Now, our b squared has to be positive, and so that knocks that out. And that's because our b has to be positive. That's how we set it up. So we're only going to use this one. So since our b is positive, our b, if you square root 12, that's going to be 2 square root of 3. So there's your b. Therefore, the length of the minor axis, remember this is your minor, is going to be 2b. So 2b is just going to be 2 times 2 square root of 3 So the length of the minor axis is going to be 4 square root of 3. All right, now for the length of the major, we have to find a squared. So remember, we had a squared equals 4 plus b squared. And our b squared is 12. So we have a squared equals 4 plus 12. So a squared is 16. When you square root, you get plus and minus 4, but we want our a to be positive, so our a is going to equal 4. Therefore, the length of the major, so 2a, is going to equal 2 times 4. So the length of the major axis is going to be 2 times 4, which equals 8. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.